All right, sorry, just testing that out, making sure it was working. How are we doing today, everybody? How we doing? How is everybody? Welcome to that. Just testing, just testing. I meant to have it started that way, but I was just testing. Um, so we'll get there. Hamza, by the way, did you catch KG calling you out in the last video? Did you see it? You've become notorious. You've become notorious as a hater. You got to fix your reputation in the community. Got to fix your reputation in the community. Or man, KG watches pretty much every video and stream, and you have a reputation, Hamza. You gotta relax. You gotta relax. But hello everyone. Good to see you all here today. How you all doing? I hope everybody is well. I'm feeling rested. I'm feeling rested. Jonathan, good to see you, my friend. Thank you for the gifted memberships. Appreciate that. 10 more to the community. Incredible as always. Incredible as always. Really means a lot. Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm rested. I'm home. I'm relaxing. You saw me in Rio's latest video. Yeah, I met him at that open training in that video. Um, I met him in that open training in the video. It was cool as well. Yes, a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about, but I'll talk about it more during the rest of the video, of course. Um, yeah, the travel was rough. I mean, the travel was rough. I'll talk about it more during the rest of the video. But I really, really, if there's one video, I hope you watch. If there's one video, I hope you watch from the tour. It was yesterday's vlog. Um, it was yesterday's vlog because I thought everything I've been saying over the last 2 weeks, um, everything that I've been saying over the last 2 weeks, I think was exemplified yesterday, which we'll talk about more through all of this. But I think it was all exemplified yesterday. I think it was all exemplified as well by the video yesterday. And so if there's one vlog, I know they may not be everybody's thing because they're different styles and all that, but I think that was one of the best videos that I've put together, just because it gave such a solid and good representation of, you know, uh, feeling a Sheshko bid tomorrow. Is the thing muted? Thought I would read it out. Maybe I can't say today or tomorrow, but we'll talk about Sheshko in just a second. Welcome, Roger. Thank you for the pro Muppet as well. Um,
Does that goal versus conceded versus West Ham and the chances Bournemouth worry you due to Bruno not doing his defensive work properly in the double pivot?
no, not particularly, especially the first goal against West Ham, because that was just tired legs and the rain things. I think you kind of notice we keep conceding late. Like both games we're rolling and then we concede late. Like what minute was it we conceded in both games? Um we conceded in the 67th minute and we conceded in the 72nd minute, okay? So in both games, my feeling on the matter was pretty simply that we were controlling the game well, winning, doing everything extremely well. We just faded a little bit, and that's kind of what it's for. That's kind of what it's for. That's kind of what the preseason is for, improving the fitness and things like that. Um, it was right before the team switch versus West Ham. That was, to me, it was simply like a little error. That was all. Same on this one. That was a rough game to play with. Second game, it was the second team. Yeah,
Best
exactly.
United channel on YouTube. Thank you for quality content.
Appreciate that, Roger. Thank you so much for the support and all of that. But look, if I'll say if there's one vlog to watch, yesterday's was it, because it was such a nice experience. It was such a fun atmosphere. It was just great. I mean, it was just great from going to I don't know, from going to to the fans, to the stands, to getting out in there in the rain and celebrating and doing all of that to uh, you know, the players afterwards. You can really tell from the atmosphere from the players that it's just fantastic.
Sesko is going to illuminate the apple. To the bank you shall take this,
Okay, all right.
high
We'll talk
voltage
about
sign
Sheshko in a minute for
emoji.
sure, for sure. But look, I feel it, and the thing is, here's the thing that kind of adds to it, right?
Smash the like
Thank you
guys,
guys, thank you.
flex
Yes, please do
biceps
smash like. Let
emoji.
me put that
Good to
down
see
here.
you back
Please
home,
do,
James.
please do.
Hope you had a good time and THX for the hard job. Red heart
that's
emoji.
that's elitist. I thank you for all the awful content too. Yes, that reminds me. I got to do my poll again. I've been bad at asking for likes, and you know how much it matters. I noticed that when I ask for the likes and I put this poll up, we get at least a couple hundred more. Um, Hold on. Oh, good question. So, funny question. All right, what did you say to Flex and KG when Maguire came over? Couldn't make it out on their vlog. Um, so, so yes, so this was funny. When we were in there, we were talking about the different players because if you've kind of seen the players around, and there's probably people. Oh yeah, I need to change it to the Sheshko fund, don't I? Um, I can change it while we're here. If you've seen like Maguire around, okay, and I'm not giving him a hard time. I love Maguire. You guys know that. You guys know how I feel about him. You know why I feel the way I feel about Maguire and how I've like, um, the reasons that I've done the things that I've done, the reasons I feel the way that I do about him, the reason I back him is because in a lot of instances, um, leave that. In a lot of instances, I think that he's had a really hard time with the fans over the years, especially in the US. A couple years ago, he was getting booed out here and things like that. But if you watch like other stuff, like there's been players during the tour that walk in around the street. Maguire tends to at times kind of try to tune the fans out for an understandable reason because of a lot of what he's dealt with, a lot of what he's gone through. He'll tend to tune the fans out a little and because he doesn't want to have to face like abuse and things like that as well, which is understandable. And he tends to look really serious at times when he's going through the mix zone, things like that. And I've been talking to with Flex and KG. They know how my feelings on Maguire. I'm a big fan. I've made it very, very clear. And so we kind of had a plan. Like, let me get over there in the front, talk to him, call him out, say some things to him, get him going a little bit first and see what I can do, get him smiling and laughing. And then it'd be like in a whole group very friendly. And hey, it worked. It worked. That was the first time we've gotten like a real positive interaction with Maguire on the tour, I think. And it was really good. And it was really good. And I tell you what, that's to me was one of the better feelings, the better indications of where the squad is at and how everybody's doing. When you're getting Maguire laughing, when you're getting Maguire smiling, when you're getting him in a good mood, then I think things have gone a long way. So that's what I said to Flex and KG. We were just kind of making a plan. That we were making a plan to make Maguire happy, basically, and I think it worked. But yeah, I think again, watch the video. You'll get a really good understanding of why I've been saying for this whole time that the vibe is different. The atmosphere is so different. I went out the last couple of seasons and it was like sometimes it was like a funeral procession in a preseason, the players. Everybody's just like going through the motions, all of that, and struggling and absolutely struggling to
Too early
enjoy
to judge,
themselves.
but
There
Arsenal's
you go. It
game
says
doesn't
Sheshko
suit
Fun.
Gyökeres.
Yeah, way too early to judge. We'll see. I'm not going back on some of my takes. I'm not going back on some of my takes. But yeah, it was really nice. It was really nice.
Why haven't we
All of
approached
it, and
Mateta like
and you can see
Watkins?
just how happy we are. Why haven't we approached Mateta like Watkins? I think we have. We did inquire on Mateta a few weeks back, and it sounds like he's still over there. But it's also about value. I'll talk about the striker stuff and how we've kind of turned, how we've turned to Sheshko and why exactly. I will explain that a little bit later. Okay, we'll get to the Sesko section. I've got a lot of things I want to cover. A lot of things I want to cover today. On that. But yeah, look, the vibes is the most important thing, to speak about on this, because I like I said, I think sorry, habit. I think that United are going to do a lot better last season. Like I do believe that we've been missing the players, the goals that we needed that kept us that low in the table. I've said before, I think we deserve to be that low in
Will
the
join
table.
later. Since we signing Sesko before selling. If we sell Garnacho, Anthony, Sancho permanent. Can we get Arbeloa?
We'll talk about it. No, but we needed goal scorers to add to the team. We needed them. But at the same time, there's so many good players and good young players in this team that should make the team do so much better, right? That's what I see. The team should be able to do so much better, you know. They just should. They should be able to be so much better because we have good players. We have good players in this team. We have guys who can do something. We have guys who can show something. We have guys who can make a difference. And I think a lot of the young players that we've gotten are a lot better than what we've seen from them, so far, and that they can grow and that they can improve and that they can continue to become more. And that we needed to see that. And I also would say that I think people really have underestimated the difficulty that it takes to kind of get this system from Ruben Amorim into the team tactically. I think people believe that we had all this time to work, to train, to be focused, to do all of it. And we just simply didn't. In addition to that, I would also add that I think people have underestimated the impact that it has made on the team of making just a couple small changes to the personnel. Because I explained in that whole tactical video a couple things. One, just how important those 10s are. Well, we spent most of the season having, Garnacho in the 10. And I'm not going to there's a reason I feel so passionately about that situation, about how much I really don't like him in that position, because he doesn't do any of the things positionally that are necessary. There's a thing out there from one of the journalists that was saying, Ruben Amorim has gotten banned cameras, right, from the tactical sessions where he's showing them where he wants to position themselves. This team was not playing. People were saying Ruben Amorim wasn't flexible. The issue is he was playing with broken tools and people doing what they can do because they couldn't do what he want them to do in the team. And we were seeing that. And the biggest thing is the 10s. I think the number one thing you'll have noticed in the games that we're seeing, and if you watch them all back, you will see it. The games that are seeing, compare where our 10s are playing, the first two preseason ones we've seen, compare where the 10s are playing versus where they were playing with Garnacho last season. Just compare. And it is an absolute light year of difference. How deep Cunha was dropping, how deep Bruno was dropping when he was in the 10. And then yesterday, 2 days ago now, geez, days are blending, how deep, how Mason Mount was dropping into the midfield, how Ahmad was dropping into the midfield, just how centrally focused and how they make a 4-man midfield. That's the thing about this 2-man midfield and doing all of that. It's the 4-man midfield. When the right players are playing, they're dropping into that midfield and assisting the midfield. And now you're getting midfield overloads instead of your midfield being overloaded. And that's why I've always said it's not The 2 isn't that big of a deal to me. I just need them to be hard workers. I need those 10s to drop in deep. I need those 10s to drop in deep. And then you notice, look at how fucking good Patrick Dorgu looks with a proper 10 around him. Look at these 2 games. Look at these 2 games with those 10s dropping in. Look at the 2 games with the 10s dropping in, and look at how aggressive Patrick Dorgu can be and what it is doing for us. He's going to be so good. He's going to be so good. He's going to be absolutely insane in this system, okay? With the right people. Now you see when he's overlapping, he's actually the furthest man forward. He's not running into Garnacho's space, having to back off and step back and try to, dribble it around like with some crazy interplay. There's so much tactically that's already looking way. You watch those 2 games, they look nothing like the games last season. And that's why I said when people are critiquing Amorim's system, you haven't seen it. If you didn't watch Sporting in Portugal, you just haven't seen it, mate. You haven't seen it. You haven't seen his system. You don't know what his system is because we haven't played it at United yet at all. We haven't been able to. We haven't. We just haven't been able to. If you didn't watch Sporting for game after game after game after game in Portugal, you don't know. You just don't know. And you will. You will now. You'll get to see it time and time again because now we are actually seeing a Ruben Amorim system in preseason, but we're seeing it. And I have to say, I watched Bournemouth rip through Everton in that first game live. I watched that in the stadium. Semenyo, all of them were running through them. And even almost more impressively than our attacking is how we're able to sustain the pressure, the counter pressing, the attacking, the push up the field. And when we did break, there's always someone there to clean up, and you're actually seeing the benefit of the 3 back. There was times when it broke through. I spent way too much time with Flex and KG. Way too much time. But yeah, anyway, I wouldn't say too much. It was a very, very healthy amount of time to pick up on British culture a little bit more, add some personality, some flair. No, anyway. No, but there's always someone to clean up. There was a time it broke through, Maguire's there to clean up. Another time it broke through, Shaw's there to clean up. You actually see it. You actually see it in the team that this is happening. But what I wanted to add to that is, why is the mood so much better? 1, simple, people understanding what they have to do. Number 2, I think this is what Ruben Amorim does. This is, when I interviewed that guy off the street at Sporting, who was a Sporting fan before both of these games, I think his words ring out really true. I didn't have the video, but when I spoke to him about it, he told me Ruben Amorim gets into the mind of these players. And there was that Sporting fan who wrote a thing as well and said they go away for a few weeks in summer and they come back like a crazy team. And they have, and they are. The togetherness in the team is incredible. And there's a really strong contingent of players too. The South American players and the Portuguese speakers, so much of them together. But then you have to bear in mind that they're really doing well getting, guys like even Shaw and Maguire on with the whole team. And then the third thing is what Luke Shaw said. And I said, look, after that interview Luke Shaw gave, which was to me one of the most blunt, candid, honest interviews on the video and how he spoke to the journalists as well. And he spoke a lot to all of us, gave us a lot on that. It revived me in saying, you know what? I'm back in Luke Shaw. I want to see what Luke Shaw can do. I really do. I want to see what Luke Shaw can do. And I said that on my vlog yesterday. I'm backing him. I want to see what Luke Shaw can do. Because I like I've said, I've never blamed Luke Shaw for his injuries. I know that it's been problematic. But I want to see what he can do. I want to see Luke Shaw succeed at United. I want to see Luke Shaw succeed with Hey Charles, calm it down, man. I want to see what he can do at United. Money, thank you for the gifted memberships, my friend. Appreciate you very much, Money Mouse. Thank you for that. I do. I really do. I want to see what he can do. I'm quite excited about that. Because he gave a really candid interview. Really, really candid interview. And he spoke about, as well, the stragglers. He spoke about the stragglers. He spoke about nobody else giving 85%. He spoke about those things, and he said it. He said it. It's not to say it doesn't matter what I believe. I want him to be successful. Did I blame Phil Jones? I never blamed Phil Jones for his interview. I've never been a guy who blames players for their injuries unless they made stupid decisions that led to those injuries. What it's worth. I've never blamed players for being injured. I don't think it's fair. I think it's one of the worst things that can happen to them. It sucks, and it has a mental toll on them that's really hard to deal with. But it was so honest, and the point was he would have known, and everybody was going to know. Everybody's going to take that interview and go, wait, Luke Shaw, you're one of the stragglers. Wait, Luke Shaw, you're one of the guys that hasn't been keeping up. But he wants to prove he isn't, right? And simply the fact that he said that was important. And I had conversations as well following that where, I was told, one, Ruben Amorim was very, very supportive of those comments that he made, of being that blunt and straightforward with it about it, because he feels that the strategy is working. He feels that, that it is having the desired effect. And he feels that it shows that it is keeping with the, keeping and getting through to the players how important this is, that it is keeping with the players, that they're starting to get it, that they are also understanding that these, influences in the dressing room have been a problem, and they have. And then when you remember we did this a couple of weeks ago. When you remove the toxic elements, you see how much better things can get. Sometimes that's all it takes. Remove the toxic elements and things, and they're not all toxic, but there are different reasons. You need everybody on the same page. This is what Ruben Amorim does, and this is why I said Ruben Amorim's not going to be unhappy. He would feel today with the squad he has that we're going to do so much better. And when he said at the end of the season that he was happy he joined early, that he was happy he suffered with it, that he was happy to have gotten through all of that he was happy with all of that, and that the good days are coming, that's why he felt, because he already knew what the plan was. He already knew what the plan was. He already knew what he was going to do, and he knew he could turn this team around, and he will. And we're seeing it, and it's going to carry forward. I feel it. I feel it so strongly that it's going to carry forward. But that matters. That matters because it ties into our first topic, which is Benjamin Sesko. Now, before we get started, I just want to mention, once again, this video is sponsored by our guys over at Pop Cuts, okay? If you want to get one of these, scan the QR code, 10% off. There's some free shipping deals and things like that as well. Get one of these nice wall arts. It's beautiful. It's incredible. It's heavy. It's like really solid. It's one of the favorite. I don't have a lot of stuff on the wall, obviously. I've got the flag that I really need to iron. I've got a couple new badges right here, finally, from the tour to add to the collection. And we've got this wall art and Pop Cuts. You can scan that and thank them for sponsoring us on this, 10% off. And there's a code and link, I think, below, unless I've messed up my my intro or my description. But you can scan the QR code or go to their website and use code Puppeteers10, I believe it is. But wanted to mention that as well. If we sign Sesko, will that impact us signing a top midfielder we might possibly look at? Maybe. For sure, it makes our funds more difficult. Yes, it makes it more difficult. But anyway, let's talk about Benjamin Sesko, because this ties into some of the reason why, the vibes, the feeling, the improvement in things very much ties into as well the reason why we may feel more comfortable in shifting towards Benjamin Sesko as a striker signing, because I wanted to find out why we kind of have moved in this direction. Okay. I wanted to know, I wanted to know, and because I'm very strong, it's not so. Oh, it's in the description. So let me fix it before I go. Because you know what? Because I was gone, and then I scheduled something, and then I scheduled something else, and then just give me a minute. I want to fix it because I want to have the right description below for people watching this later. Give me 2 seconds. I apologize, everybody. Two seconds, and then I'm gonna get to Sesko. Promise. This. I need to fix that. Get it. Save. All right, now it's in there. So when people watch it later, they'll see the right thing. Just important to do that. By the way, James, we recently discovered you kept a secret for the club. Not sure everyone else caught on to it, but I'm glad you did. Hint, we don't need to settle and Sesko. Well done. Yes. So now, you guys remember, first of all, let's talk about the money. You guys remember when we signed Mbumo and I said, and people kept asking me, do we need to sell to buy? Do we need to sell to buy? And I kept, for a little while there, I kept giving a half answer, if you remember that. I kept saying, like, I think they're going to want you to believe it's sell to buy, but we probably can. Probably can. I remember answering that question many times on that. And then I was like, you know what? It's better if I just stick with the sell to buy thing. Because it's the strategy. And yeah, and it's better if I do that. And so I did, because I wanted to, I was like, I'll stick with the plan, right? But then it kind of snuck out. It kind of snuck out in the over the last little bit that we really kind of are able to make a buy now. Kind of without a sale, and that we have maybe a bit more money than we let on, and yeah, and that's why we can do what we can do. Now, I think it's been a brilliant strategy from United, frankly, in approaching all of this, that they've gone through things. In addition to that, one of the simple reasons we have more money is that our issue tends to be more in the cash department as well. And the Mbumo deal, we spent less money, we spent less cash on that than we were planned to spend on Delap. We spent less money than we were planning to spend on Delap in terms of the cash up front. And so we have 10 to 15 million more there, which is frankly enough to do this Benjamin Sesko deal. Do you believe that if Aston Villa drops the price, we go after Watkins, we locked on Sesko? I think Watkins is on the table if the price were to come down to 45 million or something like that. But I'm not sure that it will. If Aston Villa wanted to buy Garnacho suddenly and do kind of a deal there, that would also probably open it up still. We haven't ruled out Watkins, okay? It's just that we're focused on a very specific thing right now. But regardless, I think what's important just to note here on this, because I was talking about the vibes, all right? I was talking about the vibes and the improvement in the environment and how everybody's more focused and how that relates to the decision to go for Sesko. Well, there's a couple of lines of thinking with this here, which is that there are the idea was this: Ollie Watkins represents a better instant impact, and they still believe that. It is absolutely believed that Watkins is a safer choice to improve us next season. There's nothing to answer on that, Hamza, because there's people's stuff I'm not going to get into it on here. I'm just not going to get into it on here. I've very much not changed my opinion on what things I'll talk about and what people I'll talk about, and I have good reason to believe what I believe on that. But regardless, the belief was that Watkins would, in fact, be better right now for us. However, kind of the feeling is that because of the players that we've got already, and because of the feeling within the club, and because of how Ruben Amorim feels and how everybody feels, they're more willing to take a risk than they might have even 2 weeks ago. Because they're feeling so good about how things have gone, even over the last few weeks, within the club, within the dressing room, within all of that, within everything, that they're more willing to, let's say, like, take a bit more of a risk to say, Watkins would be the better guy right now. Welcome to the Pro Muppet, Benjamin. But Sesko might be the better player to win a title with. We might, if we could win, Sesko could be good enough. This is the feeling. Like Sesko could be good enough to be the guy to lead you to lead the line for the title charge in a couple of years if it works out. It could be the guy who leads you to a title charge in a couple of years. He's good enough. Like he could be good enough, all right, to do that, which I understand that view, that his ceiling, like I said, I've never even said that's not the case. It's just the risk versus reward aspect. His ceiling could be higher, right, than Watkins. Well, whereas you know what you're getting with Watkins. So the belief is that because things are going so well, we don't need Sesko to come in and instantly be a success to get into Europe, right? We don't need that. And so I understand that opinion. That explanation makes total sense to me. That makes total sense to me. That if you feel like we could get into Europe, even if we didn't sign a striker, which I think they genuinely feel like today, and I'm inclined to believe them. I've met some fellow optimists on this tour, and I'm inclined to believe them with what I'm seeing right now and the vibes I'm feeling right now. I believe them. And it's like, so then if you're getting Sesko, it's kind of like, especially, again, if the price is similar, if you could get Watkins on the cheap, then you're going, well, that's fine. It's not holding you up in the future. The value for money is good. But if you can do this, because you have Cunha and Mbumo, then if the value between Sesko and Watkins is not that different, then go for the guy who you think could be the title-winning striker in a couple of years. And there's one more thing to that. There's another thing to that I just want to add, and it's Bruno, which I want to talk about a little bit later. It's Bruno. I mean Europe, like get into Europa League, but I think we need a striker to get Champions League. Kunbumo? Bunya? No, anyway. But you know, again, it's it has to do with Bruno as well, because it's also why you kept Bruno. It's also a balance of why you kept Bruno. If they had sold Bruno, I'd be more inclined to believe that they would need someone like Watkins to come in as well. But because they want to because they've kept Bruno, and because Ruben Amorim said, I need Bruno, and because Ruben Amorim has said, you're not going anywhere, Bruno, then you have more leeway because you've kept a very established attacking player who's really productive. You can take more risks. And that's what they're doing. And that makes sense to me. All right. Now, altogether, it makes more sense. And I want to tell you the other reason I feel so optimistic, where I've turned, and now I believe will turn Sesko into a monster because he's got the physical tools and he can learn, okay, despite my qualms and my concerns on him overall. Lenny Yoro and Patrick Dorgu. Lenny Yoro and Patrick Dorgu. We went for them. Young players, good potential, good physical tools, especially Dorgu, player with top physical traits. They came in, bit of difficulties, and they're all on the up. So I believe they've got the eye for talent. Dorgu already looks like, for the money, he's going to be an insane buy. They've found better talent, and they're making them better. And they're improving them, and we're seeing them grow with the team. We're seeing them get better. And so that gives me a lot more faith in the young player plan, in being able to get some top players. The other thing that's not cope, because I've maintained this all summer, is the simple fact that once you add Mbumo in here, and when you look at that cross from Dorgu, and you add Mbumo in, Those crosses, you get a striker like Sesko with his height, jumping ability, physicality in the box, we'll see something special. We need that. We need that. We need that. It was a great move by Højlund, mind you, and a great goal by Højlund on that. Imagine them doing that all the time now. Imagine them doing that all the time with the ability to put these crosses in the box that we have. Heaven too, yeah. Imagine that. With Dorgu doing them from one side, with Mbumo from the other side, all these in-swinging crosses. Give me a big motherfucker in there who's going to get on those balls all the time. Just let me see that. And that's what I think. So I think that's going to be great. Yeah, Sesko might be tall enough to reach Dallas crosses. Yeah, exactly. So all of that gives me hope. All of that gives me hope. Now on Sesko, I think there's a fair bit of. I got to tell you something really funny. I was on my WhatsApp. I reached out to somebody to ask about Sesko 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I reached out to this person to ask about Sesko. I reached out and I asked about Sesko, and I didn't get an answer at that time because we've been looking at him for a long time, and I've been following up on him. And because I knew, like, I've actually reported on Sesko like multiple times. I did a video one time from the balcony at a hotel a few years back talking about Sesko being a serious option, and the same last year as well. And we didn't go for him. But at that time we were talking 30, 40 million, and I was a little less burnt on young players, and I was a little more interested in the risk. But I messaged this person 3 years ago about that. They replied to me at 1 a.m. this morning. So I think Sesko's on. I think Sesko is on. Okay. I think Sesko is on. Okay. Yeah, he was the main target last year. I believe I even reported it ahead of summer, something about that. Yeah, literally, I got an answer now from someone at 1 in the morning that I had asked 3 years ago about Sesko in the first time. But I got an answer now. So I think, anyway, Sesko's on. Regardless, it is. We know it's on. He's the main target. We're going for him. We're interested in him. And I think that, I think we're pretty prepared to make a bid. From his side, I think from the player perspective, I would say he prefers United, but it's not going to be clearly indicated at this point in time, simply because it pays for him on his perspective to like keep both clubs, Newcastle and United, kind of on the loop. He's got to negotiate personal terms, things like that. We haven't agreed all of that yet, but I do think we're going to get him. The negotiations are there. Are there, and they're happening, and United have made it pretty clear. And there's definitely a feeling among everybody you speak with, at least as of, a couple of days ago when I was there, and journalists, everybody around, that it's clear now, and United are going to get their man, and I think they will. So I don't expect it'll be long. I expect he'll join when we come back. I think we'll have it done by the time we come back, or like close by the time we come back, based on everything. I think we'll have it done by the time we come back. Get him in still for preseason and all of that. The sell-on clause is an issue. I don't know. I'm not sure it is an issue. The reason that Newcastle think he's coming to United is because, of course, they've been ready to essentially offer him a blank check, and the fact that he's not accepted them since United has come in, it's a pretty obvious kind of, like, it would give you a pretty obvious feeling that it's going to happen if, that he's going somewhere else, if you're making a straight up offer and then they're not doing it. Now, the other thing that may have certainly improved the situation is if we do want to include Højlund. Now, this is an interesting topic, this whole thing on Højlund, right? Because obviously he's been playing. He scored 2 goals last night, by the way. He scored 2. I know you guys want to give that third goal to Ahmad, and so did I. But I was in there. That video I filmed being in the stands was right behind the goal. I watched that shot come through and come off of Højlund's leg. Got 2 goals yesterday. Striker at the double. He's got 2 goals. It was a good game from him, frankly. Striker's goals, you know. Now, would that ball have gone in if he didn't touch it? Probably. But still, he got 2 goals yesterday. But obviously, you know, the vibes are kind of good with him and all of that as well. But, you know, you're still hearing, as with all of us, that he'll probably leave if we get a striker. Just not enough time. Just not enough time. He did. No, I videoed him doing it. It was in my video as well. He says that he got 2. And he did. Technically, he got 2. He technically got 2. I was there. I saw it in person as well. I saw him touch it. So, you know, anyway, it is what it is. But look, I think he's gonna leave. Yeah, he said 2 goals. He claimed them. He claimed them. So, you know, look, he looks a bit better. He looks like he's getting more of it. But at the same time, it's kind of like you need different people. I don't know. I still think he's going to go if we get Sesko in. If we can offer him to Leipzig, great. If he can go on loan, even better. A loan wouldn't be bad. But don't get too hung up on one game, guys. We've seen a lot of Højlund. I wish him the best. I hope he can become great, but don't get hung up on one game in the preseason for one individual player, you know? He wasn't, I don't think he was good in the first game. But anyway, it's fine. It's fine. It doesn't matter. He'll probably go out still. He's going to try to stay. What's going to happen is what I said from the beginning, okay? What's going to happen is what I said from the beginning. He wants to stay. He will have to be told by the club to leave, and then he would accept a move. And I'm not saying like kicked out, but they will have to tell him, look, we've got a striker in. There's not going to be the minutes for you. We think your best place would be to go away from United. If he's told that, then he will leave. But maybe it'll be a loan or something like that. We will see. But yeah, it's interesting that Leipzig are interested. On Garnacho, this is another factor in this whole striker thing. Villa have been very interested in Garnacho, but as I've kind of maintained for some time now, he's going to put off deals while Chelsea's there. It does seem like Chelsea is there, though. And it does seem like there's a decent chance that Chelsea actually do come in for him more seriously now. He's always wanted Chelsea. It's always been his preferred option. It's always been where he wants to go. It's always been part of the challenge. If he'd been willing to go to Villa, that was one of the reasons we looked at Watkins strongly too, is that there might have been a bargaining piece there, but it wasn't moving, and that's part of the issue as well. If we could have just done like a swap there, that might have made it, not with money going both ways, that might have helped too. But this is a challenge. He's always wanted Chelsea, and so be it. I think we're going to have to accept 40 million, frankly. I think we will. I think we will. Because I want to say this too. People saying, oh, he'll return into the team. Guys, no, he won't. Listen. Whatever Ruben says, and I don't want to say it too loudly because the strategy is the strategy, okay? And he's got a good strategy. And his whole comments in that press thing were fine. We just spent all this time talking about the environment, the vibes, everything that's happened, the stragglers, the things like that, the 85%, the shit like that, right? He doesn't want him back. He just doesn't. He doesn't want him back. He doesn't want them in this squad. He doesn't want them around this team. He doesn't want them there. It's clear as hell. I think he would do anything to make sure that they go. And you saw Sully saying that they'll be with the under-21s when they come back. It's probably true. He doesn't want to keep him, man. Let's just looking at all of this that's gone on. I think there's no world I see where Ruben Amorim wants to keep him, and that they'll return into the team, especially in Garnacho. It's like, yeah, you'll compete. All right, you'll compete. But you may not be selected in the 18 game after game after game if you stay. Because remember, you don't have a full, you don't have 25 people. You know what I mean? So, it is what it is. It's like, It's just, I think if you were to pick 18 players for a squad or 21 or however many it is, they're not making the squad because he'd much rather probably have, if you're thinking of backups, Lissandro soon, Heaton, Bayindir, bring 3 keepers. He'd probably bring 3 keepers first. All of those things. So, yeah, but it seems like Chelsea want Garnacho. I think they'll accept a pretty cheap move for him, frankly, to move him on. It's fine to take the 40, and if he wants to rot, fine. But I think we'll accept 40 million. Goalkeeper, exclusive from last night, Tom Heaton, coming for the number 1 position, per the recommendation of James Rhodes. No, I really like Tom Heaton though. He's actually one of the players I met a couple years ago too that was really friendly in that whole zone and very chatty as well. He's a really nice guy. Everybody likes him. Good dressing room character. I'm trying to get him to stay 2 more years because I think if Tom Heaton can stay until he's 41 as a depth player, not to actually play, but as a dressing room guy, keep him on. No, really though, I wanted to talk here about Donnarumma. We've kind of we've registered an interest with Donnarumma's people about his situation. We've registered an interest with Donnarumma's people about his situation, but that's not to say we're like actively making a move for it. We want to be in the loop on what's happening because you never know. It might even be for next year. He was pushing to kind of stay at PSG. The thing you have to bear in mind on this goalkeeper situation is this, right? We've got like with Emi Martinez, we were only willing to loan him. We didn't want to buy him because we've got too many keepers. Okay, so we kind of ruled it out as soon as that happened. Now Donnarumma's a younger, better player than Emi Martinez, but at the same time, we still need to move someone like Bayindir along in order to probably buy him. But we've registered our interest. We're keeping we're keeping things open on that, so we know what is going on in the situation with him. What could happen here is pretty much up in the air, but I think it would be notable to I just think it would be a good one to keep in mind for the future. We just want to keep in mind that for the future. Okay, so yeah, could be this season, this summer, if a lot of things go right. It could be for the future. Maybe he stays on a 1 year at PSG, frustrated, and we look to a pre-contract in January. Like there's a lot of possibilities on the table here, even if we can't bring him in right away. Still interested in Lamens, but we got to move on by India, and then it would be about costs and things like that too. But it's certainly kind of fallen down the radar just a little bit, just a little bit here. But we're keeping an eye on it. Nothing serious on Donnarumma yet in terms of making a move. But it's just up in the air. Let's say he gets to the end of summer. Okay, let's say we get to the end of summer. What if we get to the end of summer? They've got Chevalier in, they want him out, and there's nobody else who's bought him. Could we get a loan for Donnarumma in the last week of the window? Maybe. And I think we're keeping an eye on that. I think we're keeping a strong eye on that situation. So just keep it's open. It's open. It's like we're keeping up with it. Yeah, Onana and Xerxes are headed back to team training. Lissandro, I still hear he's doing some light work and things, but it's still expected to be a little bit. I'm just saying. I think October was the plan, because and that's not to say it couldn't be sooner, but it's not to say it couldn't be sooner, but it could be a matter of like there's sometimes setbacks and there's sometimes an expectation that that'll happen, and we have to be careful. So that's all. It could be sooner, but they're more thinking about that. Loan on an expiring contract. Yeah, because let's say he's stuck there and he doesn't want to stay. He wants to stay. They don't want him to stay, and he's just stuck there and he can't do anything. Well, it might be more difficult to buy him at that time because you have to agree a whole contract, things like that. But perhaps you could loan him, give a good loan fee to PSG, take the wages off, and then you're negotiating with him as a free agent. Come January, you can actually negotiate a full long-term deal. So we'll see about that. We'll see about that as well. What happens there? So yeah, keep that one in mind as well. In terms of like another plan, there's still alternative plans here because right now it looks good on Sesko. We're ready to pay. We've got the money. We've got the ability to do a deal. We've got all of that. We need the full approval from him and personal terms. Not done yet. What if it doesn't happen? We've got more possibilities here. We've got more potential plans in the action. We've got more players to look at. For example, Randall Kolo Muani. There might be a plan where we look at a loan for Kolo Muani with an option. There might be a plan there. And if we do that, then we go spend some money on the midfield. Just keep that in mind. It's a thinking. There's some thinking of some things like that could happen. It might be, if Chelsea don't get Garnacho and we get close to the end of the window, that we move back over to Villa if they're still in for him, and we go for Ollie Watkins. There's still other plans because United are remaining A to the G to the I to the L to the E. Okay. Any truth to United hijacking Ipswich for Hackney? I've not heard a thing about that, to be honest. I wish we would. If it comes out, I would love it, but I've not heard a thing about that happening. But they're just backup plans. It looks good on Sesko, but what if he doesn't approve the deal? What if something goes wrong? Then there's alternative plans that could happen. It's not like they're not prepared. They've been prepared for every possible eventuality time and time again. It's why they prepared the Sesko thing while they were working on Watkins. It's why they moved for Mbumo with the knowledge that perhaps Delap wasn't going to join. So, yeah, it's interesting. We've got plans. Wanted to speak again about Bruno, to talk about that kind of situation, which was that, because there's been some talk about Bruno. There's been some talk about, Ronaldo pushing for him to join. I can tell you for sure, firsthand, that I do not believe Bruno's going anywhere this season. Like, we already kind of know that, but it's Ruben Amorim will not sanction his departure, like under any circumstances and now at this point in time. So there's just no way. I don't think Bruno wants to go anywhere anymore. I think he's pretty damn certain. What did Fabrizio say on Sesko while I'm talking about this? If you can leave him in the chat. He doesn't really want to go anywhere. Now, I do think one has to bear in mind that United are potentially preparing for life without Bruno at the same time. I just want you to think about that for a second. When you think about how they're moving, acting, all that we've seen so far, he's think about Watkins, the feeling of like, moving for they want to, will Bruno still be the guy there when we're ready to win a title? I hope. But he will be 33, 34 years old. Will he still be the guy? And so they've obviously had to continue to make preparations. Adding Cunha, adding Mbumo, all of that has been a part of that. And when I said that, remember I spoke about Kobbie Mainoo. All year I said, we're not selling Kobbie Mainoo. And they don't want to sell Kobbie Mainoo. And they want Kobbie Mainoo to get to his best. And if you listen to Ruben's comments, he's talked about Kobbie Mainoo moving deeper in the team. And it looks like he will be deeper in a team. And they wanted him to look fitter, faster, which Ruben said as well. I said that was the plan this summer to get Kobbie going, really, really going. I think Kobbie will replace Bruno in a year or two. Maybe there's a world where Bruno leaves next year and Kobbie replaces him. Maybe. I don't want Bruno to leave. Again, with everything I've seen, I was more open to it before, even though I really do like Bruno and I saw him adapt extremely well over the course of the season because I thought, with how screwed he might be financially, it might be the best thing. I'm really happy Bruno stayed. I'm really happy with it. He has an incredible leadership in the dressing room. He has an incredible influence on people. If you saw the whole interaction the other day, we need people who are like him around. It makes sense. It was hilarious. It was so funny. But anyway, I like him. I like him. Obviously, I love Bruno. And would he potentially want to leave in a year? I don't know. But maybe after the World Cup. If there's a moment he wants to leave, then I think he will go. And they'll give him that. And obviously we're preparing for the future, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We have to be really good at that time, and it might be dangerous to lose him at that time. So I guess we'll see. Love Ruben as Ben Media from Tactical Training. Yeah, I think it's great. No MUTV, no nothing, no cameras at all, no potential leaks on things. I think it's fantastic. So yeah, and I think that when you see the game, he played more forward in the first game. I think it worked really well. He played deeper in the second game. It also worked really well. Because I'm telling you right now, I'm telling you today, man, and I really want you guys to understand and believe this. The 10s and the wingbacks make the Amorim system, not the midfield. Because the 10s are midfielders. And that's why we can play really well with Bruno forward in the 10s alongside Cunha. And we can play really well with Bruno deep with good 10s up front and good wingback play. Because it's the 10s doing their job that make the midfield work, not the other way around. So, yeah, I'm much more encouraged that Bruno can work in that midfield. But I still would say, I don't think it's going to work with Casemiro. People can call me biased or whatever. It doesn't matter. I think that, like, when you compare the first game, Ugarte's performance as a 6 versus Casemiro's in the second game, I don't think they're even in the, like, I don't think Casemiro is, to me, he still looks slow, diving into challenges a lot. I think when the league gets going, it's not going to work. And so my only concern that I have right now, actually, is that we haven't run Ugarte Bruno in the midfield so far this season. We haven't run Ugarte Bruno in the midfield. That worries me a little bit. I like the Ugarte Mainoo partnership, by the way. Really, I think it's fantastic. I like the Ugarte Mainoo partnership. Can you guys hear that or not? Probably not. Anyway, because my mic's probably not picking that up. But we haven't seen the Ugarte Bruno midfield yet in the preseason. The Casemiro, the slides, the pre-slides, the diving in really early is not it for me. And I think we're kind of in danger with that. My dogs are going nuts. Anyway, sorry, it was very, very that's my dog's howling for whatever reason. Like I don't know if you could hear any of it, but it was not bothering me, but distracting me. But anyway, yeah, I think Bruno will be fine. I just think we're gonna need to get Ugarte in there, as well for sure, and hopefully we see that in some of these games, too. Now, obviously, we're going to see a lot of we'll see some different combinations. We will see Ugarte Mainu, whether starts or for subs or things like that, different things there. But yeah, all of that. Can you talk me through what you know on Baliba? Baliba, Baliba. I'd be shocked if we don't make a move for Baliba by next summer. I'd be shocked. James, why does Amorim weight Mount over Mainu? Why would you say they play different positions? They play different positions. They play totally different positions, that's all. Mainu is going to be deeper. That's what I've always said is his best position, and I think when Ruben saw him originally, he played him deep for a reason, and I think that is his future, is deeper in this team. I think Baliba fits us a lot better than Adam Wharton with this system. I really like Wharton, but I think Baliba fits a lot better in this system. He's a energy ball. Baliba, he's like a shin kicker with better on-ball quality, so he fits. That's that. He gives you the Ugarte, shin kicking and energy, but he gives you more on the ball. He will be 100. He might be worth it. Look how good Caicedo is. He might be 100 million plus, but if we're back in Europe, like let me ask you a question. Let's say we get Sesko this season. Let's say we get Sesko this summer. And let's say we can figure out a goalkeeper situation. What do we need next year? A midfielder. Casemiro out. That saves us almost 30 million a year. That's Baliba money. That's it. We just need it. No, we don't move Ugarte. We have Baliba. Ugarte, Cubby as our main midfielders with Bruno. That's 4. Nothing wrong with that. It's perfect. It's perfect for depth and rotation. But no, look, what I know is that he's the right fit, and I know he's very highly rated within the club. Very, very highly rated within the club. Take it as you will. And I think that's a position we want to spend big on when Casemiro leaves on a free next season. If there was a world where somehow we could do it now, we would do it now. But I really think we will go for him. I think we're gonna get him. No, I do. I think we'll go for him quite a bit. I think it'll be next season is when we need to spend big on the midfield. More likely it'll be next summer we spend big on the midfield to add to it. Having Ugarte and Baliba, one, you could play them together. One, you could play them as a rotation. But if you had Ugarte, Baliba, Mainu, and Bruno, you've got 4 incredible midfielders, and you have the flexibility as well that some can play in the 10. So, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I'm the Sesko situation. Going for Sesko is the big play that says we're going for the main guy. So no, I don't think we'll be back in the market for another striker next year. We'll need a central center back as well. Yeah, if we played Ugarte and Baliba in the midfield with Sesko, Cunha, Mbumo, Ahmad, and Dorgu, with those 2 guys just destroying other teams, I think I would love it. That'd be so Liverpool to me. It would be such a combative midfield by the way that Liverpool did it. But we will also probably need a center back next summer. But a midfielder plus a center back is the key. A midfielder plus a center back next summer, I think, is our starting targets. Maguire confirmed leaving. Well, not confirmed, but his contract does expire. He is older, And I think we'll need a CCB anyway. No matter what, I think we're going to need another center back next year. We even considered it this year, but pushed it to the bottom of the list. And remember, we want to move further through our plans each year. So, yeah. I'm still looking at Zeno de Bast for that. The best center back on the ball in Europe, in my opinion, or he will be. De Bast. Baleba and De Bast. My insanely early next summer call. Baleba and De Bast. And then it's title charge time, okay? Summer 2026. Baleba and De Bast. And we're going on a title charge. That's it, okay? These are even ones that Tacticals will be happy about. Yeah. Donnarumma on a free. Baleba and De Bast. There you go. Summer 2026 title charge season, okay? That's what I'm looking forward to. Yeah, the loans, by the way, I did want to mention that how happy I am with the loans because I did say by the way, I did say many times that there's a lot of young players at the squad in the club that people are begging for them, seeing them in the team, that are probably not good enough, that need to go get first team minutes, that we just can't really see them in the team yet. Guys like Morehouse, a lot of people wanted to see him, but I'm really happy we're seeing all these loans now. Following the summer, obviously, I wouldn't say any young player has particularly grabbed it with both hands to be a part of the team. Thank you, Victor Hogg. Welcome to the Pro Muppet. I don't know that any young player has, as of yet on this tour in preseason, fully in terms of in-game, fully grabbed the situation. But I'm happy that we're doing tons of loans, and I hope we do more. I hope we do more. I hope we do a lot more loans for sure. Definitely. Um, Second. All right. Yeah, Lacey's injured again. It's unfortunate. I think we're going to loan a lot more, and I think that that's a good thing too. We do need to loan a lot. I don't think we have a ton of guys who are that close at the youth level. That's I've kind of maintained that for a while. I think there's people that are a year off, maybe, and then, but yeah, we'll see. Um, okay, let me see. Was there anything else I wanted to talk about? Yeah, I saw something about we looked at Paulinho earlier on. I think I've even spoken about that, by the way, that we did consider that we would maybe consider Paulinho, but kind of passed on it. Now he said maybe a less defensive but still very intense midfielder that we've looked at, Ederson. I can assure you again, was somebody we did really like during the over the course of summer. He's still technically available. If we ended up with money, could go for him. I would again though say, yeah. I'm going to assume today we I don't know. We might sign a midfielder this summer. But if we don't have the money for the top one, I'm still not positive who we get. I think nobody really knows. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Let me see. What else did I want to share? Was there some videos and things coming out? Hold on. Let's take a look at this really quick just to see if there's anything different to what we've just been talking about. Just real quick. Where's all this noise coming from on my side? My bad. All sorts of crazy things coming out of my computer. I would have considered him. Hackney? Are we hijacking Hackney? I would love if we did. But has anything actually been said here? What, Hoyland? Okay. Something in Fab's video about this. So let me just look at it and see. Something's like blasting out of my computer whenever I was trying to look at his video. Hold on a second. Where is this noise coming from? Something is like playing music out of my computer and I have no idea where it is. I don't know where that came from. Anyway, sorry guys. Yeah, I didn't see anything that I believed about a Hackney stuff. Hold on. Leipzig asks for Hoyland in the Sesko deal. Where is this noise coming from? I have like nothing open on my computer and there's just music playing. This is the most bizarre thing. What is going on? What is going on right now? Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. Where is this coming from? Okay, it's coming from Chrome. Sorry. I have nothing open. It's like in the background of Fabrizio's video. It's just pumping music, but it's not actually in his video. But something's just like playing music. Sorry. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't mean to derail what I was talking about, but I have no idea what the hell was just happening. Yeah, I don't know what it was. It was just like pumping music. I was trying to open Fabrizio's video to see if there's anything interesting in it, and yeah, maybe it's like YouTube or something. I closed it and it's fine, but no, it was not X. I had nothing open except the video. And it was doing that. It was crazy. Anyway, anything else new in that? Otherwise, I'll probably get to the end of our video here. There was nothing else important to discuss. It was Leipzig who asked United to include Hoyland. Okay. Cool. It was just music, you know? No, it was just like techno music. You couldn't hear it either, but no, it's literally just techno music. Like it was there was one tab and it was just YouTube and it was just like playing music. All right. All right, guys. I think I'm going to end it there. It's been an hour and 15. It's been a good stream today. I'm really happy. I'm really really happy with everything. No, it's gone now. I just closed Chrome entirely and it worked. It was just like stuck playing video in the background or something on YouTube. But anyway, yeah, really positive stuff. I'm feeling so good. I feel so good after everything that's happened. And honestly, guys, we get this striker in the door, we're getting a Champions League position. I feel it. I feel it. I feel it. I feel wait, I'm so sucked in right now. Like you have absolutely no idea how sucked in I am right now. By the way, on the 8th, when the team get back, there will be the Carrington opening as well. So there's some media be going there, so we should get pictures, updates on the whole brand new Carrington thing. Yeah, and Donny Ireola talking about how good we are was really good. Was really good too, you know. But look, no man, I have belief in this team. I've got belief in Ruben Amorim. You guys know, you know how highly I rate him. His first season after when he joined Sporting, they won the title. Now, I don't think we can win the title. I don't think we can win the title. I'm not going to go crazy, but I really, really, really rate what Ruben Amorim is doing, and I rate what he's bringing to this team. And I rate more than anything else the teamwork, the togetherness of everything that we're seeing with one game a week. And I think they can put this together, and I think they can keep this going. I think we're going to be. I feel it, man. Because if this doesn't work, it has to. It has to. And Mbumo, top 8 goal scorer. Cunha, top 8 goal scorer. Bruno's still there. Dorgu's going to be a monster. Ahmad's fit. Midfield's going to work. We're getting Sesko, top striker, coming in with huge, crazy tools that's going to play better, play the way we want. Toxic, everything's gone. It's just a better version of a team that's finished in the top 4 already. Togetherness there. People on the same page. Automaton's working. We're getting there. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to pull it off. It's going to happen. All right, guys. I'll see you later, okay? Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your day.